Okay, folks, how you doing? That Neil Kelliher back again from The Amazing Chase, and we're going to move on now to episode 14. All right, episode 14 is the undercover cops that I caught on camera throughout the duration of this ordeal. Okay, so I only caught them on camera a few times, but that's all I needed to catch them on camera. Just a few times was enough for me to add to my evidence collection to prove who it is and what they've done. All right, so obviously it's Interpol, okay, but like I said before, it was started in Australia by Cairns Major Organised Crime Squad and Melbourne Organised Crime Squad in conjunction with the Queensland Crime and Corruption Commission. All right. So once it moved out of Australia, it became Interpol operation in combination with those authorities. And in the UK in particular, which is where I am now, it's an NCA operation, so National Crime Agency. And the reason for that is the National Crime Agency is Interpol. Interpol, okay? So in the UK, they have what they call Interpol. Every country Interpol operate, they have what they call a National Central Bureau. And in the UK, the National Central Bureau of Interpol is in Manchester. And that is part of the National Crime Agency. Okay, so bottom line is, on UK soil, it's the National Crime Agency that have been targeting and attacking me. Okay, so what I'm going to do is show you a few photographs here. All right. So we're going to go right back to 2020 and Dominican Republic. Okay. Now this fella here, it's not the clearest picture, but you get the idea. All right, this fella here. That is Manuel, okay? Manuel was the undercover cop they embedded into my building by setting up the building manager upstairs and forcing her to work against me, all right? So this picture here was taken on her balcony. So he's sitting on her balcony. I've just come back from being out and about. You can see my ear there because I had to pop the phone just on my shoulder and take the picture over my shoulder because that was the only way I could get a picture of him without being obvious, all right? So that's what I did. Okay, so that's Manuel, all right, and I nicknamed him the Weasel because he looks a bit like a weasel. Don't know if you can tell, but he had a little mo and a little goatee, and yeah, he looked like a weasel, so I nicknamed him the Weasel, all right. So, like I said before, Manuel was the one who was embedded into the building in the Dominican Republic. Him and his team spent, well, 6 months in total, but he was there for 3 months from March until June. March, April, May. Yeah, so all of March, all of April, all of May to early June. So he was there for 3 months. Okay, and during that time, him and his team, they must have perpetuated probably 3 or 4 different attacks against me. All right, but I only told you about the main drug entrapment attack in the last video. I will get to each individual attack in different episodes in the future if we get that far, but I don't need to right now. So that's Manuel the Weasel, all right? Okay, now, we're going to move on now, fast forward. I didn't catch any of them on camera after that. Once he realised he'd been caught on camera, because they knew that, because they stole my evidence from my apartment, every time I saw him after that, he used to have his head down so I couldn't get a clear picture of him in case I tried to take another photo. Because they couldn't move him out of there, they had to send him back. But every time he saw me, he was like this, with his head down. All right, so that's Manuel. Now we're going to fast forward to the Luton, okay, Luton in 2022. All right, now I didn't catch any of them on camera after Manuel, all right, because it was just too difficult. I mean, I knew they were there, they knew I knew they were there, but they were keeping themselves very well hidden. And in order for me to sort of run my covert operation against them, I couldn't make it too obvious that I knew exactly what they were doing, so I couldn't sit there trying to take pictures of them. You know what I mean? All right, so anyway, moving on forward, fast forward, 2022 in Luton. All right, so this guy, all right, this guy here in the white transit van, all right. Again, it's not a good picture, but I don't need it to be a good picture, all right? It just shows that they were here and that I've got them on camera, all right? He's an NCA operative, all right, National Crime Agency operative, all right? I nicknamed him Ducky, all right? The reason I nicknamed him Ducky is when I walked towards him, because I literally walked towards him to try and get this photo. And when I got close to him, because I was walking straight towards the van, he did this one. All right, so he turned his head to the side, ducked his head, and pretended to be looking at his phone. So all I could see was the back of his head. So in order to get that photograph, I walked up the street, crossed the road, came back down the other side, and then I walked alongside the van and just turned my camera to the side and went click, 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 click to get those photos of him. All right. Again, they're not clear photos, but like I said, I don't need it to be. All right. So that's Ducky, all right? Now, that was actually in 2023, all right? Which was the year after the assassination attempt and the year after the photos of this van, these vans were taken in my car park, all right? So this picture here is in my car park. That's the same van there on my street almost a year later, all right? This one here is the van they used to replace this one when I exposed that one on my Telegram channel, all right? Okay, so anyway, carrying on with the pictures of the operatives, this one here, and again, that's really blurry because I had to zoom in from a long way away. I had to take that photo from behind my gate in my car park, and I had to sort of stick the camera in the gaps in the gate and take a photo like that, because every time I approached him, he was in my car park, he would walk away to the back end of the car park away from me, so I couldn't get a clear picture of him, all right? And the reason he was like physically in the car park is because this little van here, the black one, was too small for him to sit in the whole time. All right? So basically what happened was they had to replace the white van, this one, with the black one, all right? Because I exposed that one on my Telegram channel. And this one, he was manning this one, all right? Now I saw him out the back there probably 4 times, all right? I was going out there different times of the day, different times of the night, putting garbage out, you know, because I was, you know, obviously running my own surveillance against them, okay? So I saw him sitting on the wall out the back, all right? So that van there, just beside there is my bins, and then there's a wall beside that. He was always sitting out there, and every time I walked out there, he would get up off the wall and go and walk right down to the back corner of the car park, all right? So anyway, that picture also, that was taken at 5:20 a.m. in the morning, all right? So, you know, just to show that they were there 24 hours a day, you know, in this van, all right? Okay, so that's the pictures of the operatives. Again, they're not very clear, they're not very concise. They don't really, you know, I can't identify anyone. I could identify Manuel if I had to, but I couldn't identify these two. But I don't need to, all right? I don't need to do that. All I need is to prove they were there, okay? Now, let's go back to these vans, okay? So I'm going to now prove it's Interpol, all right? So this van here, the white one, you can't make that out, all right? But that's ND07YOA, and this one is MD71ORY, all right? Now, like I said before, they had to swap those vans in October 2022 because I exposed the white one on my Telegram channel, all right? Anyway, let's get into these, right? So, this one, the Ford Transit, it's back to front, so I'll read it for you. ND07YOA, all right, Ford Transit, all right? So that's the white Ford Transit. That one was following me around for years, since 2020, all right? I first saw it in Bristol in 2020, outside my friend's place, when they were hacking me in July in 2020, okay? I then saw it again in Luton in August 2020, because they followed me from Bristol to Luton, okay? And then obviously I saw it again in 2022 in my car park, and then 2023 on my street. So it was in my car park in 2022 for probably about 6 weeks, all right? And like after the assassination attempt. And then it was on my street the following year when I got back from Thailand for another 6 weeks, all right? All right, because they couldn't park in the car park again because I'd already exposed them and got them kicked out of the car park, so they were parked on the street, and they had a building up the road where they were using for their surveillance base, all right? So that's the white van, all right? Now run a rego check on it, and it comes up as registered in Newcastle, all right? That's not significant at all. I mean, it doesn't mean anything. I mean, you know, as if you were, you know, operatives, you know, operating out of a certain office where your base is, you wouldn't use a van that was registered to your base, would you? No, of course you wouldn't. All right? So that really doesn't mean anything, Newcastle. All right. So let's go on to this one, the black one. So that's the black one. MD71ORY, all right? This was a new van, 2022. So first registered in, year of manufacture. Year of manufacture 2022, all right? So this was a new van, so they had to get, the Ford Transit was old, 17 years old, this says, all right? Anyway, so they put the black van in there, got rid of the white one, put the black van in there, all right? Now, this is where it gets funny, all right? So where do you think the black van was registered to? All right, so let's have a look here, all right? Here we go. Right, the black van registered to Manchester, okay? What's significant about that? Interpol NCB is in Manchester, all right? So, I mean, come on, guys, fucking hell. All right, so here we go. This is Interpol, all right? Region, United Kingdom, well, sorry, Europe, sorry, region Europe, all right? National Central Bureau, Manchester. All right, so yeah, I mean, I guess they didn't have time to find another van because they had to swap them over quite quickly. So they got rid of the white one, replaced it with a black one, which was registered to Manchester, which is exactly where Interpol, NCB are based, in Manchester. All right. Now, just to clarify the point that Interpol is the National Crime Agency. All right, so down here, this is the details pulled straight off of Interpol's website. You can't read that, but I'll read it for you. All right. Okay, so. NCB Manchester is part of the National Crime Agency, a body of operational crime fighters leading the UK's fight to cut serious and organised crime. They are the serious and organised crime, by the way. All right. The NCA addresses national security threats, focusing primarily on strengthening UK borders, fighting fraud and cybercrime, protecting children and young people, tackling serious and organised crime. Apparently that's what I was, serious and organised crime. Whereas actually the reverse is true. They are the serious and organised criminals. All right. So anyway, like I said, end of the day, Interpol are the culprits. NCB in Manchester, their black van registered to Manchester in my car park in 2022. All right. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much it for that episode. I don't need to drag this one on any further. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, which will be episode 15. Thanks, folks. Cheers then. Bye.